The first and last hurrah of the shortest Z Warrior. And no, I'm not talking about Krillin. What's up everybody, StevDeS here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Days Season 2! With Dragon Ball Z Warriors, there was always a niche for some character to fit wherever, and I think, well, what better way to introduce Season 2 on this channel than focus on the Z Warrior that gets very much the least camera time. As far as I know, I haven't counted the seconds. You have Krillin as the somewhat goofy sidekick to Goku. You have Tien as the stoic one. You have Piccolo as a sort of mystic. You have Gohan as a very well-educated young man who is the father of his own family now, who's decided to take martial arts on so that he can protect his family in another way. I kind of like where Gohan is right now. You had Yamcha as the pretty one, you had Goku as the strong and stupid one, and here comes the main character of this one, Chiaotzu, as the one with freaky powers. What about Yajirobe? Today we focus on Chiaotzu and what could have been in What if Chiaotzu survived the Saiyan Saga? What if this little fighter had more to offer in the grand scheme of Dragon Ball and ended up, not doing that? This is what we're hoping to answer here today and expand on a story that, well, albeit this one is going to be short, hence why it's a one-parter, but I figure this is a good one to kind of lead into some other things that could happen with this Z Warrior. As far as those suggestions, check out StevDeS discussions where I've done part 1 and 2 with Kaizen Ball, and we have Dragon Star Productions lined up for episode 3, which, if that's out, that will be in the info card right there. I'm going to start this when Chiaotzu has grappled Nappa with the intention of blowing himself up. This time, however, thanks to the powers of what-ifery, we have two methods of ensuring Chiaotzu's survival here. Naturally, we have Chiaotzu's psychic potential, which is a thing. If he's smarter than his opponent, he can get them with the Psycho Threads technique. Or, there's also the Dodon Ray, which looks a little bit too familiar to people who worked for Frieza for years. Here, we're gonna do a mix of both. While he's holding Nappa, Nappa suddenly feels like he can't move. He was about to end that Baldy down there, but now he has barely any control over his ki. He can't move a muscle. Well, that's because Chiaotzu must be smarter than Nappa. Given that Krillin was able to move slightly and talk, it's understandable that Krillin, being smarter than Chiaotzu at the time, was able to do something while being in the hold. Nappa, however, I don't think he has the kind of cognitive potential. He kind of runs off his instinct a lot. And so Chiaotzu yells at Tien to blast him with everything he's got. And Krillin actually joins in with a Kamehameha here. Naturally though, both Z fighters aren't strong enough to completely destroy Nappa, but Tien, he did put his all into that technique. What about Chiaotzu? Chiaotzu's fine. He used the big brute as a meat shield. And so, Nappa did survive, but kicking off of his back, Chiaotzu fires his own Dodon Ray at the brute just to see if it does any damage. And that looks like something he would want to avoid. Shiloh, shut up! More than likely, the Dodon Ray is something that the brute has seen before. And he gets out of the way with the most fearful expression on his face. Something that makes Vegeta just laugh like hell. He's never seen the brute so scared before. What the hell? I'm alive? That was a dirty little trick, you little puke! I'm gonna get you for that! Ah! Here, Tien would use the rest of his energy, whatever he didn't spend on the Tri-Beam, to get in the way and take a fist straight through his chest on Chiaotzu's behalf. Chiaotzu would go down to Tien and, be there for his friend's last moments. Something else also would in fact change here if we were to focus on Chiaotzu's psychic abilities. And for the sake of the what if, I'm gonna go this route. Chiaotzu would be able to stop Nappa from attempting to kill Gohan. After that blast and all the fighting they've had to do, Chiaotzu would be pretty tired to the brute. And he would barely be alive. A lot of that damage would actually be directed at Krillin. Krillin would still be on the ground just as Nappa's Bomber DX aims for the child. And that's when Nappa starts feeling that frozen feeling again. That little human that he let go because he wasn't really much of a threat is doing it again. Ah, man. And so Piccolo has enough time to get Gohan out of there. The problem with this, Nappa's paralyzed and he's holding a bunch of energy that could very well blow up in his face. Instead, he's got to find some sort of target. The same trick isn't going to work twice. And currently there's a target just to the side of where Nappa was aiming. Yeah, unfortunately, Krillin dies here. Now, would Goku go Super Saiyan? No. The reason why Goku wouldn't go Super Saiyan here is because Toriyama hadn't invented it yet. However, he would get extremely mad and Krillin's death would make a difference. Nappa would be killed outright. Goku wouldn't feel any sort of sorrow for someone who took his best friend from him, and he knows that the Dragon Balls can't bring Krillin back this time. So Goku gets a bit of a cold streak and ends up murdering Nappa. Well, I mean, better Goku than Vegeta. A lesser of two evils, I'm sure. Piccolo and Goku would go to take on Vegeta. A sort of callback to Raditz. Goku would sense how much stronger Piccolo's gotten, and he'd be impressed. But he doesn't know Kaioken, so I'm sure things would go a little bit better. Grade 8. Yeah, the Vegeta still got the grade 8. But we do see Piccolo do the growing technique in order to try to match Vegeta. Little does he know that Vegeta's grown in more than just size. This does give Goku time to charge a Spirit Bomb, but on the way back, Chiaotzu and Gohan, they sense Piccolo's ki fade. That's not good. With Piccolo's ki gone, it's just Goku, and Gohan sensed it, and in anger, he flies back first. Chiaotzu chases after Gohan, but Gohan sees that glowing orb in the sky in the distance, and you know what we like to do on this channel, grade 8 fight! Here though, it's not Krillin that gets the Spirit Bomb, but Chiaotzu that helps Goku to his feet in order to continue charging it. But by the time the Spirit Bomb is done charging, Chiaotzu has to take the Spirit Bomb into his own hands. Luckily for Goku, Yajirobe comes by and cuts Vegeta's tail. This means Vegeta has to waste a lot of his stamina trying to get the tail out from Gohan. And as Vegeta gets back up to try to exact his revenge on the sleeping naked child, that's when Chiaotzu takes the opportunity and hits him with the Spirit Bomb, which actually works. However, it doesn't kill Vegeta, just like in the anime. He's able to get to his ship and fly off. Chiaotzu would be a stand-in for Krillin on Namek because, well, Tien gave his life for Chiaotzu and Gohan kind of, feels bad. Piccolo saved his life back there if Chiaotzu didn't come in. Plus, Piccolo died fighting with his dad. He feels a moral obligation to go to Namek, so why not? Gohan and Chiaotzu are the ones that witness Frieza's troop attacking that village. Chiaotzu is able to keep Gohan calm, though. This time, however, Chiaotzu would have, well, the solar flare a little bit more clear in his mind. Kaga would die, Mori would die, Dende would be the only survivor, but of course, instead, we do have Chiaotzu getting the power-up. All of that still happens as per the canon. I'm going to pull a page from what I did in What If Goten Was Born First to what I did to Chi-Chi in that and give it to Chiaotzu. Looking at this Z fighter, I don't see a fighter per se. I see, in Guru's eyes, a member of the Dragon Clan as far as what Chiaotzu can do and what circumstances he's had leading up to this. He's very much more a supportive fighter than the lead member of a team. Yeah, check that out. When it comes down to it, Guru unlocks Chiaotzu's potential, which not only gives him much more control about his psychic powers, but having more of an understanding of ki and how energy works, Chiaotzu learns how to heal. So that means we have 2 healers getting into the Frieza fight. And so Chiaotzu doesn't really show it off until, well, after the Ginyu Force. Goku's ready and raring to go, which means both Saiyans up and having 2 different healing sources makes the fight a lot easier. As far as the Ginyu Force is concerned, Chiaotzu bests Guldo thanks to this power-up. In the Namek Saga, we still get Super Saiyan Goku, but of course, we don't get Krillin on the planet Namek. The third wish, easy. Krillin, Piccolo, Tien. End of story. Chiaotzu's present. Then the fight with Frieza would occur, much like the anime. The main difference, like I said, Goku doesn't have to waste his time in the healing pod, and Vegeta's plan about wounding himself? We have a Chiaotzu. Oh, and before someone might say it in the comments, I'll just address it here. I wanted Chiaotzu to have a bit more of a role as far as Goku Ginyu. That psychic power would work immensely well on Goku Ginyu. Because, well, let's face it, if he can't control all of Goku's ki, he can't mentally understand how Goku's body works. That gives Chiaotzu an edge. Leading into the Cell Saga, nothing different would happen. I would keep the Cell Saga exactly how it is, with Chiaotzu wanting to stay out of it for a good amount. Same thing with the Buu Saga. Chiaotzu would die to the human extinction attack, and instead, he would go to King Kai's planet, having heard stories from Tien about his training on King Kai's planet while the whole thing with Buu is happening. So not only do we have Chiaotzu with his potential unlocked thanks to Guru, but we also have Chiaotzu with King Kai's training under his belt, allowing him to be a little bit more of a fighter, understanding that Majin Buu might not be beaten, and he might need to fight. He doesn't want to, he's very much retired at this point, but he understands that if he's got to enter the fray like him and Tien were trying to defend their homestead and launch, they, unfortunately, he's gonna have to fight. Which leads up to a small bit where Chiaotzu is backhand smacked by the God of Destruction when he wakes up. That whole timeline keeps going until we get to the Universal Survival Arc. The Tournament of Power. One of 2 ways could happen. One thing that people tend to ignore is that fit Buu that falls asleep, filling a spot in the Universe 17. As far to my knowledge, again, I have not seen Super up to this point. I might want to get right on that since this is Season 2. Plus, I'm pretty sure some of you want to see what if Kid Buu turned good next. I better get on that. Chiaotzu would be called out by Goku, and considering Buu fell asleep, I imagine Chiaotzu would say, if something happens to one of your members, I'll step in. That is but one way to explain Chiaotzu's inclusion on the Universe 17. Another way would be that Tien would understand that Chiaotzu has a lot of potential that he has yet to unleash, and maybe fighting for the survival of the universe would bring that out in him. Tien understands Chiaotzu's side of this, and Tien himself even would tell Goku that maybe there's better fighters out there. Chiaotzu would in fact join the tournament when they find out that Buu fell asleep. If you don't want to go that route, there is another route that involves Chiaotzu being in the Tournament of Power. That would be Tien saying that Chiaotzu is actually far more powerful and he needs to unlock that potential. Plus, he knows how to heal people. Should someone get immensely wrecked in that tournament, Chiaotzu can come in and heal that person up lickety-split. That would be immensely powerful for the tournament. And so, with that encouragement, instead of Tien, it would be Chiaotzu. Now, when it comes down to Tien's overall inclusion, as far as what he has done for the Universe 7 team, I hate to say it, but anybody could have done that. That's something that got ruined for me. One fight in particular I want to focus on because it would change exactly the performance, but not really the outcome of the tournament, would be the fight with Dispo. Gohan and Frieza versus the Speedy Rat from Universe 11? I don't know when the Pride Troopers, like where the Pride Troopers came from, I'm sorry. Gohan agrees to stay and send Chiaotzu, and Chiaotzu would have stayed near Gohan after Tien got knocked out, or Tien's not in the tournament, then he would have stayed near Gohan anyway. This is where those two choices end up coinciding. With Chiaotzu, Frieza doesn't have to worry about blowing extra energy into trapping Dispo. Here, Chiaotzu would give his spot in the tournament and paralyze Dispo, allowing Frieza to be as maniacal as possible. He would do that enjoying sort of hand on his chin thing and just giggle at the fact that this speed demon has finally been stopped by one of the smallest members of the Earthlings. This would be glorious for the tyrant to enjoy. Frieza, I can't hold it for very much longer. Do what you're gonna do. Isn't that glorious? One of the smallest members of Earth's defenses actually coming to the defense of the tyrant. Don't worry, when I'm done with this one, he won't be running for very much longer. Frieza shoots two death beams straight through Dispo's thighs, somewhere between the thigh and knee, and handicaps him. This is, of course, shown as disgusting for a lot of the people from his universe, and Frieza just enjoys the pure pain he can give this annoyance. I'm sorry, but your rules state that this one needs to be surviving as long as he's in the ring. I think he will, as long as I want him to. That's when Frieza menacingly walks up to Dispo and promptly puts a hand in his chest, throwing him out of the ring. You didn't have to do that, Frieza! He was already stopped! Oh, now, isn't this nice? One of the Earthlings is arguing with me. Don't make me send you out of the ring, too. Frieza! Should you do that to your own team member, I will destroy you! Relax. Much like I did with Gohan earlier, I wouldn't dare risk such a thing. You have my thanks for what it's worth. So get to work healing me. He doesn't want to heal Frieza, and so this would be a point of contention. Tien would be there either spectating or having been knocked out, and he would yell at Chiaotzu to go ahead. Frieza is one of the strongest fighters we have in this thing. Chiaotzu would oblige. Goku, Frieza, and 17 would be in better spirits thanks to Chiaotzu's ki, but at the point of Jiren, he's just about tapped out. But he does understand one thing he can do. With Jiren being way more intelligent, the whole psychokinesis thing, that won't play out. Instead, Chiaotzu is going to do something that not a lot of people want him to do. In an attempt to stop Jiren and knock him for a loop, Chiaotzu does what in canon he did to Nappa. This does shock everyone and shake the stage. A lot of the whatever's left, the Earth, I don't know, the terrain that's on the stage, it ends up being broken by this huge explosion. Jiren does survive, and Tien has to be held back by Krillin in order to, so he doesn't break the rules. He is angry that Chiaotzu did this, and how dare Jiren not go down because of it. Chiaotzu's body, though, appears next to everybody, and he gets a halo on his head. This is where Whis actually does show pity on the little warrior, and does what he did to Frieza at the end of the Tournament of Power. Brings him back to life. With that, the Tournament of Power would end all the same. And that's what I think would happen if Chiaotzu had survived the Saiyan Saga. So what do you all think? Do you think there were other applications Chiaotzu would have been extremely helpful in? Maybe there's another one that would constitute a one-off what if that you would like to suggest. Well, go over to my Discord, which is actually the KitsuNet Discord. Down at the bottom where it says StevDeS Community, there's a nice little text section that is what if suggestions. And I pick the best ones I see. There's not a lot there right now, and I tend to clear the list relatively regularly. So if you have a suggestion, hit me up there. Or leave your comment below! Damn it. For more what-ifs in the realm of video gaming and Dragon Ball alike, such as if another character survived past their canon death, because a lot of you want me to continue that timeline, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!